Greed and ambition can destroy even the most successful. Today, I'll tell you a story inspired by the early years of Donald Trump, but not the one the world knows today. This is the story of a man who learned, perhaps too late, that enough is never truly enough. Can this endless hunger destroy not only those who have everything, but also those who have nothing? In the end, you will decide whether his choice was the right one. Donald, son of a prominent New York builder, was already a rising star by the early 1980s. Charismatic, relentless, and bold in vision, Donald inherited more than just money from his father, Fred Trump. He inherited a burning desire to build an empire. His first major triumph was transforming a crumbling hotel near Grand Central into a symbol of luxury. It wasn't just his business acumen. It was his instinct for attention, his ability to always be in the right place at the right time, and his complete lack of scruples when it came to getting what he wanted. But behind the image, Donald harbored a deep fear, the fear of appearing weak. He grew up obsessed with surpassing his father. He would sign million-dollar checks, but haggle over a hot dog. To him, every deal was a battle, every debt an insult. And so, he built his empire always carrying with him a broken watch. Just when he thought he had everything under control, a problem arrived that would test him like never before. One day, Donald discovered that his closest partner, a man named Roger Farrell, had been stealing small amounts of money over several months. They weren't massive sums, but enough to raise serious questions about trust within his team. The dilemma was clear: cover up for Farrell to protect his reputation or expose him publicly and risk appearing weak in front of his allies and rivals. To make things worse, Farrell possessed compromising information about some of Donald's shady dealings. A labor fraud investigation was threatening to bring his empire crashing down. He was accused of hiring undocumented workers, paying them low wages, and evading taxes. The evidence was strong. If convicted, it wouldn't just be a hefty fine. It would be his most humiliating public fall. The pressure was overwhelming. His uncle, the one he always turned to in complex situations, urged him to find a quiet solution. But Donald knew that staying silent would send a dangerous message, that he could be walked over. What would you do in his place? Option 1. Negotiate with Farrell to return the money and bribe the district attorney with an irresistible offer. Costly, yes, but it would avoid a public scandal. However, if caught, you're on your own. Option 2. Take the case to court, expose Farrell publicly, compensate the affected workers, and accept the legal consequences, even if it means revealing uncomfortable secrets and possibly losing everything you've built. Option 3. Hire a private investigator to blackmail Farrell and pin the blame on a former general manager claiming ignorance of the illegal practices. It would save your name and your company, but destroy the life of a loyal man. Option 4. Forgive Farrell and cover the theft yourself, sacrificing part of your fortune to preserve the relationship and negotiate with the prosecution. You'd admit guilt on some minor charges in exchange for immunity for your company. You protect your empire, but stain your reputation forever. Which would you choose? Think carefully, because the consequences will be severe. Consumed by his fear of failure and guided by his father's teachings, Donald chose to hire a private investigator to blackmail Farrell. And it worked, at first. During a carefully staged press conference, he denied any knowledge of the illegal practices and presented his former general manager as the sole culprit. The plan succeeded. Farrell vanished from the public eye, leaving behind only the watch his friend Donald had once given him. The media hailed Donald as a hero. His company's stocks soared, and he regained full control of his business. But soon, the private investigator began demanding more and more money to stay quiet. And the general manager? Devastated and betrayed, he holds evidence. Evidence that could ruin Donald. Did Donald make the right decision? Probably not. While he saved his empire in the short term, his choice left him vulnerable to revenge and condemned him to live with the weight of guilt. What would have been the better choice? Perhaps option 2, the ethical route. Risky, yes, but it would have shown integrity and, in the long run, might have built a stronger legacy based on trust. Was Donald a misunderstood genius or a dangerous narcissist? Do you agree with Donald's decision? What would you have done? Tell us in the comments. At WISEKOR, we want to hear your thoughts on stories like this one, drawn from a forgotten 2015 article that reminds us a painful truth. Greed and ambition can destroy even the most successful, because in the end, it's not power that reveals who you are, it's what you're willing to sacrifice to keep it.